Hello, this is Manesh Patel from the EII Capital Group. Today is August 22. This is the weekly Ichimoku analysis for the U.S. markets. Let's begin. Let's go for a normal disclaimer. Disclaimer is basically stating this is for educational use. All charts are pretty much in Thinkorswim or TradeStation. Here are my contact details. You could also find me on Twitter under Ichimoku Trading. So let's begin, as we normally do every week. We're going to start looking at the ES futures. If you remember last week, we talked about we're at a major resistance level, which was here at 1127. If you look last week, we got right to it again, and then we bounced right off that. We said in last week's video, be very careful around that resistance level since it was big, and also we said that this is an opportunity for price to go for the Ichimoku cloud, because this is the thinnest part of the cloud right now. Until you start getting into January of next year. So either it starts going bearish right now, or it will pretty much go sideways, a little bullish until January of next year. So you could see that pretty much it held. It came all the way down to our support level that we had outlined before at 1066, and pretty much stick around that. So the range right now is 1066 to 1127, and that's kind of key to see exactly what happens. The major level that's the support, the key one, is going to be the 1041 if it gets down there and what it does at that point. But we really don't know. Time will tell. Remember, this is a weekly chart. If you look, the Chicago is finally below price from 26 weeks ago. So the Chicago is now gone bearish again. Okay. The future Kumo is still bearish. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let's look at the daily time frame. Let's zoom in, and you can see pretty much daily's in the cloud, so basically means we have no sentiment at all right now. And if you could see that if price gets down to the 1041, this is inverted head and shoulder, so everyone's going to be looking at that chart pattern, and if it breaks it, people are going to think that that head and shoulder got violated and it's going to go to the downside. Okay, so let's go look at the other futures. We've been mainly looking at the NASDAQ too. Reason why is the NASDAQ's been pretty much more bullish. So in our recommendations, we've been saying if you're going to take any stocks to the bullish side, take them from the NASDAQ, and if you're going to take any stocks to the short side, take them to the S&P minis or S&P 500. So let's go look at the NASDAQ, and you could see it pretty much last week. If this is the weekly time frame, it didn't even go up to the Cajun Sin at all. Kind of pretty much just did an inside bar from the week before. So really, there was no price action at all. It didn't break down like the S&P 500 did, the E-mini futures. So that was pretty strong on the bullish side. So, you know, again, we reiterate, if you're going to take any stocks to the bullish side, take some from the stock NASDAQ. Okay. Right now, if you look at the weekly, the futures bullish, the Tinkin Center, Cajun Center conflict, but the Chicago is right at price, so really hasn't done anything at all. But if one more week, it's pretty much going to hit price here, and 2 more weeks is going to pretty much be in a bearish mode. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the NASDAQ. If you go look at the daily pretty much is the same thing as the E-mini S&P. It's in the cloud. However, it just does have a potential of breaking up to the bullish side a lot more than the S&P minis. Let's quickly go look at the Dow Futures. Let's see what they stand on the weekly time frame. And if you look at the Dow Futures, they're above the cloud too. But if you look, it wasn't an inside bar like the NASDAQ. Dow Futures did break down lower, did form a lower low than the previous week. So that is a little more bearish, but it's not as bearish as the S&P mini futures. Okay, and let's go look at the one I want to look at, the Russell futures. And if you look at the Russell futures, pretty much it had an inside day too. It's at the cloud, but you could see that it's very bearish too. Okay, so you remember the emphasis right now, as we mentioned before, is if you're going to take any bullish trades, take them with anything that's related to the NASDAQ. If you take any bearish trades on the stocks, take them with the S&P mini, S&P 500. Now, be very careful going long term. Reason why there's no real trend in any of them yet on a daily or weekly. You possibly could have some trends on lower time frames, from 240 to 120 and so forth. But right now, on the daily and weekly, there is no trends at all there. Okay. Again, here are my contact details. You can find us on Twitter at Ichimoku Trading. Have a good week trading, and speak to you next week.